Hi guys, welcome to the third episode of Brew with Hitesh. And today, as promised in the last episode, we have Roshni making a Flair 58 espresso.
And not a mess out of it, hopefully.
And not a mess out of it. Hopefully.
Yeah, I have learnt it few times by now. Let's see how it goes.
So I'll be standing here like a sincere boy.
Oh, school principal.
Quite the opposite, I would say. How were the lessons, by the way?
Oh, they were good.
Did I act like a school principal?
No, not at all. It was really fun to learn. Okay, now I will start.
There she goes. Queen, oh boy. Wow.
It's easier when the table is lower.
Oh yeah, definitely. Short people problems.
Hey, I heard that.
By the way, guys, the pressure gauge is holding steady at 9 bars. She did a pre-infusion. We'll talk about what a pre-infusion is later. But the pressure is holding steady. And the crema, oh my God, looks phenomenal. Oh my God. I want to dive into that espresso straight in. Can I have it?
Yes, of course.
Oh my God. By the way, the layer on top, the creamy, brownish, yellowish layer on top is called crema. We'll explain what a crema is in detail when we'll do one episode only about the espresso. But Roshni,
Yes.
this espresso,
Please taste. Do the
looks
honors.
beautiful.
Nice.
So there's a common debate around, some people stir their espressos, some people swirl their espressos.
Oh, okay.
But it's personal preference again.
What do you prefer?
If I have a stirrer, I would prefer to stir. Okay. Right now, I don't have a stirrer right now in my hand, so I would just stir and have. Why stir and not swirl is because stirring actually mixes the entire espresso.
Okay.
Swirling will just give you the swirl look of it. Like it's swirling, but it's not really mixing,
Ah.
Like imagine you mixing sugar in your coffee or tea.
Oh.
Would you stir or swirl?
Stir. Definitely stir.
Exactly. So, wow. Oh my God. Rajan, this is good.
Really?
This is really good.
Not just.
Oh no, oh my God, this is so good.
Thanks, Hitesh, for teaching me to brew an espresso.
The pleasure was all mine, but looking at how you have pulled this espresso, I think I'll have to down it. One, because it's too good to be left there. Second, I will need it. So much talking is going to happen in this episode. So, there you go. Cheers, Roshni.
Cheers. Nice.
Umami. Generally not described for coffee, but this is umami. Wow. Just umami. Too good. So, Roshni, do you know what today's episode is about?
I see a lot of equipments plus one of mine here.
Yes, this is yours. By the way, she brought it from her home. It's called a percolator, and we don't have it, but our dear friend had it at her home and she got it. So today we are going to talk about different brewing methods and the principles behind it. So widely we talk about percolation and immersion and something called pour over or gravity, when because of gravity the coffee pours down and gets filtered and we drink that coffee. So we have a French press here.
Okay.
Have you used a French press before?
My friend had one.
Your friend had one?
Yes.
So have you brewed in a French press before?
Yeah, I've had whatever she used to make.
Oh wow. So one of the easiest ways to make coffee, and you would have seen a French press probably. I think everybody has seen a French press once in their life. It's ideally you would see sitting in one corner in the cafe, one of those shelves. It's just lying there, just next time you go to a cafe, just say hi to that French press. I feel sad for the French press sometimes. By the way, French press can be used to make a coffee with milk, and then you can also have a black coffee. And how this works is the principle is called immersion. The coffee and the water sit together, immersed. The coffee is immersed in the water. And when you plunge down, the coffee and the water get separated. So how you do it actually is you first put coffee in it, and then you put hot water on top, and then you give it a nice swirl. And after that, once the brewing is complete, that depends on the recipe that you are following. You plunge it down. The metal filter, which is in this plunger, a mesh kind of, separates the coffee from the water or the coffee that you have to drink. The coffee grounds and the coffee that you have to drink gets separated.
Okay.
Then you pour your coffee, enjoy your coffee. You can have your milk on the side, mix your milk, and have a milk coffee with the mesh. Have you used it in any other way?
Yeah,
I wonder.
to froth milk.
To froth milk?
Yes.
I wouldn't. How do you froth milk in this?
You pour milk, not too hot because you don't want the milk to be burning the coffee once you pour it.
Okay.
And then you just, froth
Whoa.
it like this. And I know it's a mess to clean it, but we do use it like that sometimes.
Wow. I think that's one way to impress your guests at home, right? Like just serve them a cappuccino with so much froth in it. I have never used it. Like how you mentioned, I've in fact never got an idea. That's a beautiful idea, by the way. Guys, as Roshni said, it's a mess to clean it afterwards. Have 2 French press at home, one for frothing the milk and one for making your French
Or just
press.
buy a frother.
Or just buy a frother. Yeah. Then the second equipment that we have here is a Vietnamese filter.
Hey, it looks like our South Indian filter coffee.
The South Indian filter coffee and the Vietnamese filter work on the same principle.
Okay.
This is a metal brewing chamber. This is made of aluminium. There are copper filters available as well in the market and stainless steel. So the coffee goes in this basket. On top of that you pour water and then you let the coffee seep through, and whatever collects at the bottom is your coffee that you drink. You can froth it, your milk, and then mix that coffee with the milk and have your South Indian filter coffee. Or you can mix condensed milk in it and have a Vietnamese filter coffee. I'm not saying only condensed milk is required for a Vietnamese filter coffee. You can have it either ways. So the Vietnamese filter and the South Indian filter work on the same principle. And all of these coffees are filter coffees and there's a filter involved. It's just very simple, guys. Then we have Roshni's percolator. Can you tell people how to use it?
So what I do, I don't grind my own coffee, so I buy something that's specially ground for this.
Okay.
I thought it is just called a mocha pot, but then you told me that it's a trademark and
Yes,
not
yes.
really the equipment. So okay, we'll call it the percolator.
The percolator.
So I put the coffee in this basket and the water in this, and then I keep it on the stove, heat it, and when I hear that sound, that
The hiss
uh,
sound.
is when I switch it off, and then I get my coffee here, and then I usually use milk with my frother
Okay.
and then this coffee.
Oh wow, how lovely. So that's exactly how you use a percolator. And this is also a very easy way to make coffee at home.
Yeah.
It's available in a lot of like crockery stores around your house. You can just get one and get straight to it, no fancy equipments required. Very easy to make coffee in that, I
Yeah.
believe, right? You just have to be a little bit careful because as you keep it on the stove top, this gets very hot.
Yeah.
Even this gets very hot. So while opening, while cleaning, you just have to be a little careful.
Yeah.
Another, do you use hot water for this?
No.
So another tip you can say to make a good coffee in this is that you use hot water already when you
Oh.
fill it in this chamber.
Oh.
Because what happens in this device is hot water boils and the steam passes through the coffee which is in the basket
Huh.
and the coffee comes out from top.
Yeah.
So if you're already putting hot water, you're not burning the coffee for a longer time. You're not heating the coffee for a longer time. So less chances of burning the coffee and getting a bitter tasting coffee.
Ah, okay. I'm going to try that tomorrow.
Yes. Now, the next 2 things we have are both pour over methods.
Okay.
By pour over, it's very simple. You pour water over coffee and what comes down is the coffee that you drink. Both of them have paper filters. You can use a cotton filter or probably there are metal mesh filters available in the market. I don't prefer it because you have to keep it very, very clean to avoid some kind of off tasting notes which you don't want in your coffee.
Oh.
So I use a paper filter,
Okay.
not very sustainable, but I want a good cup of coffee. So there are paper filters in both of these. You put coffee, there are different pouring techniques, and then the coffee pours down and you drink it. Now,
Okay.
what is the difference between both? This is called a V60. As you can see, it looks like a V, and it has 60-degree angle in the V.
Okay.
This is a V60. And this is chemex. Looks like a chemistry lab equipment, hence chemex. The paper filters for both are a little different. And more or less, if you really want to compare how a brewing equipment is changing the taste of the coffee, you should keep all the parameters same.
Okay.
Keep the same grind size, keep the same temperature, keep the same pouring techniques, and keep the same brew ratio, which is the coffee to water ratio. Say for the coffee is 10 grams and the water is 100 grams for the coffee, you keep it the same for both the devices.
Oh.
And when you brew using the same parameters is when you can actually say that I like chemex better than V60, or chemex has a particular taste or a body, which is, the mouth feel of the coffee. If the parameters are different, then you cannot distinguish between the two methods.
Okay.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Then, last but not the least, we have an Aeropress. One of the most versatile brewing equipments, easy to use, does not break. If I drop it down, won't break. It's plastic. In fact, good quality plastic, fiber, whatever it is. And this uses different principles. Like you can brew coffee as a pour over in this.
Oh.
You can press and make it like use pressure to brew the coffee. And you can even immerse the coffee for a long time by reversing the Aeropress.
Oh, okay.
And this becomes an immersion plus pressure. Very versatile, very easy to use.
Okay.
And guys, actually there's a worldwide competition that happens around this one equipment. That's called World Aeropress Championship. Happens in Bangalore, Delhi, everywhere. Indian Aeropress Championship. You might as well participate next time, Why don't you give it a try? I mean, it's a thrill, I would say. So how you actually do it is, the normal Aeropress would be, in here goes the paper filter. You put the paper filter and then you lock it. And then you keep on whatever you want to, carafe or a glass where you want your coffee to be poured. And then on the coffee you pour water.
Okay.
Let it sit for a while. Just swirl it a little. There are so many recipes. We'll do an individual Aeropress episode to talk about different recipes and how to change and what things to change and not.
So you keep saying recipe. What do you mean by a recipe?
So by recipe, I mean you can put some ginger, some garlic, some tomato, some onion, some coriander, and you'll get different tasting notes. Absolutely not. In coffee, when you're talking about recipes, in espresso, when you're talking about recipes, the recipes are basically the amount of coffee used, the brew ratio, the temperature of the water, and how you're pouring.
Okay.
So all of these things are, when we talk about recipes in coffee, these are the things that we're talking about.
Okay.
So we'll talk about all of that in detail in the coming episodes. So now when you plunge, your coffee comes down.
Okay.
There's another way to brew this Aeropress. It's called inverted Aeropress. Instead, you take this upper chamber and you put the plunger here and then you keep it like this. Pour coffee and then you pour your water. Then with the paper filter, you lock this and let it sit for a while for whatever recipe you're following. You want to let it sit for 5 minutes, let it sit for 5 minutes. And once it's done, you invert it and then you plunge it. That's called your inverted Aeropress.
Okay.
So these are the most widely used brewing equipments. There are a lot of fancy equipments in the market you can buy. And these are the ones that we can get our hands on today. So we've covered most of the principles that extraction works on. Flare 58 is pressure. You saw Roshni brew one. And we also covered, the last episode was just Flare 58. So Roshni, do you have any questions?
Yes. If I have to buy these equipments, where do I get them? Where do you usually buy them?
Where do I usually buy? So they are available online on a lot of platforms. But where I usually buy from, there's one OG in the market, Benki Brewing Tools.
Okay.
Very close by, good people, very friendly, very easily accessible. And I can just walk into the store and see what all equipments are available. They're very happy to explain how individual equipments function and even teach you how they work. So I usually buy from Benki Brewing Tools. They have a website and you can go on the website or you can just walk into the store and buy the equipment. By the way, Roshni, is there anything specific that catches your interest out of all these equipments today? It's something that you want to ace it, you want to learn it more, and you really want to,
Actually, like I feel like learning about everything now because each one is different in its own way.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I would love to, watch more of your videos related to each of these and see how different techniques work.
Yeah, sure, for sure. And I think you, more than watching the videos, you'll have the first-hand experience of being here and learning.
Lucky me.
Lucky us, lucky me, lucky this channel, and lucky all of you that we have Roshni here. By the way, Roshni also helps us edit these videos. So thank you, Roshni, for that. And thank you so much, guys, for watching this episode. We'll come back soon with the next episode of Brew with Hitesh. Thank you.